Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to my live for my member spotlight. I am going to be trying to share this on my page while I'm introducing myself, and I'm also going to see if I can share a PowerPoint, but it does not look like I can. So I will just tell you what's on the PowerPoint. If anybody is watching and you know how I can share this to my page while I'm doing this, please let me know. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining. I'm just trying to see if there's a way for me to share this to my page as I'm going live in the group. Not sure I can do that, so I will just start. So most of you who are watching probably know me, but again, I'm Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. So what do? I help people keep their jobs, stay with their families, and remain productive members of society, because a life crisis does not have to last a lifetime. So how do I do all those things? I save people time, money, DMV points, their driver's license, a job, potentially a concealed carry permit, and a criminal record. So why hire an attorney if you have a criminal or traffic case? Attorneys know the prosecutor, they know the judges, they can and do tell you what you are facing, they tell you what is likely to happen, they tell you how you can prevent that from happening. And also most work is done before court, so the attorney can tell you things that you should or should not do prior to your court case. Also, even if you think you are guilty of something or you made admissions, things can still be done. Just because you are guilty, just because you think you are guilty, that does not mean that all hope is lost. Attorneys can come up with a lot of creative solutions based on what your particular issue in life situation is. And also, attorneys know the consequences that most people don't think about. So I also want to let you guys know before I go on, if you have any questions, just type them into the comments, because I'm going to be looking at my PowerPoint, but I'm going to be checking back here too. So it won't take too long. Once I go through the PowerPoint, just feel free to throw all your questions at me. So the last thing I mentioned is that a lot of people don't know consequences to certain crimes and traffic issues. You might think jail, you might think fine, you may even think DMV points, but not everybody thinks that. But there are a lot of consequences to certain crimes and traffic issues that most people don't think about. For example, if you have one drunken public conviction, which is a class 4 misdemeanor and not punished with any jail time, you will lose a concealed carry permit for 3 years. And there is nothing that can be done about it. If you prepay that ticket and you have a concealed carry permit, it's gone. Or if you want to get one, you can't for 3 years. Additionally, too many DMV points could result in a suspended driver's license. And if you're driving on a suspended license, that's another crime. And then obviously you can see where that situation keeps going. And another thing that a lot of people have a misconception about, they think that a person who called the police can just drop a charge, but that is not how it works at all. Once the police are called and somebody is charged, a person cannot just drop a charge. They can certainly go to court, and that victim can go to court and tell the prosecutor that they want the charge dropped, but it does not just happen because a person wants it dropped. So a little bit about me. I know Lisa, who is here, knows probably all of this, but I have a master's in litigation from the George Washington University Law School, and that's basically a postgraduate degree in trial work. And I received my Juris Doctorate from Ave Maria School of Law in 2010, my Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Crime and Justice Studies and Psychology, a double major from Lemoyne College, and also I was born and raised in Fairfax. I am a solo practitioner. I've been in business for 6 years. In those 6 years, I've handled hundreds of cases. Right now, the majority of my caseload is in Prince William County, but I do practice throughout Northern Virginia. And handling hundreds of cases over 6 years, I learned very, very quickly. I am in court every day, sometimes with multiple cases every day. And some interesting or fun facts about me, if you think they're interesting or fun. I worked in almost every restaurant in Fairfax in high school, college, and law school. I am a huge WWE fan. I'm also a huge Britney Spears fan, the certified body pump instructor, the queen of useless trivia, and my lifelong goal is to go on Jeopardy. So we'll see if that ever happens. So back to work. Why hire me, or why hire any criminal defense attorney? But we're talking about me right now. I'm experienced. I focus completely on traffic and criminal defense. Every day handling traffic and criminal matters. I don't delve into other areas of law. So I am very experienced in traffic and criminal cases. I would view myself also as aggressive, which is not a bad thing, persistent, and prepared, which are all things that you need in a lawyer. And if all of you who are watching have any other descriptions of me, feel free to write those in the comments. So now getting to who is my ideal client. My ideal client is anyone who must drive and keep their driving record clean. That's a lot of people. So who am I looking to meet? I'm looking to meet people who must drive for work, home improvement or home service companies, contractors, people who work for delivery companies that are in higher positions, like even Amazon, Lyft, Uber, FedEx, UPS, that type of thing, and also realtors, because realtors spend a lot of time in their car. Also looking to meet people who know people who have security clearances, because even a minor traffic issue can actually cause an issue for a security clearance. So it's very important if somebody has a security clearance or maybe trying to get one and they have a criminal or traffic issue, they really need to talk to an attorney. I'm also looking to meet parents or people who have access to large groups of parents, because teenage drivers will have their license suspended much more quickly than adult drivers for traffic convictions. There are more severe DMV penalties, and it's an inconvenience to parents if their child loses their license. And also, if a driver under 18 gets any sort of traffic or criminal charge, they cannot hide it from their parent, and the parent has to go to court with them. And if they don't want to fight the case in court and they just want to prepay the ticket, the parent still has to have a notarized signature on that ticket, so the parent does have to be involved. So once the teenage driver gets a ticket, it definitely will become an inconvenience for parents. So what am I looking for right now? I am looking for opportunities for speaking engagements. I recently wrote a book, and I will put the link to that in the comments. It's called More Than a Fine, The True Cost of Speeding in Virginia. I'm looking to speak to Rotary clubs, any networking groups, PTA type groups, frankly, anybody that would be interested in all the consequences of a speeding ticket in Virginia. I also can do presentations on how traffic tickets can affect your employment, so I can speak at staff meetings. I'm looking to speak to local businesses, and like I said earlier, parent groups, schools, and also can speak about any other area of interest that people would want me to speak about. So what I have going on, since pretty much COVID started, I've been doing live videos. Every Wednesday, I do a local business spotlight at 4 o'clock on my Humbrecht Law Facebook page. Basically, an average of every other Friday, I do webinars. So, sorry, something weird is popping up on my computer right now. And so what I have coming up this coming week, Jennifer Hocutt, who hopefully is watching with J. Hocutt Group, she's going to be on my local business spotlight. I've had several members of DCFempreneur on my business spotlights before, like Lisa Shapiro, Sarah White, Sarah Alapin, Jennifer Rose with the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, just to name a few. So I'll also put a link to my Humbrecht Law Facebook page so you guys can check those lives out if you are interested. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the book a little bit. As I said, it's called The True Cost of Speeding in Virginia. So there are 22 chapters because there are 22 different ways that speeding Can you guys see this video? I've been told that it's not visible anymore. Well, Jennifer, you made the comment, so sorry. Somebody told me that this video might not be live anymore. I'm going to keep going. Sorry about that, everybody. Back to the true cost of speeding in Virginia. So there are 22 chapters because there are 22, at least 22 different areas of your life that a conviction for a speeding ticket can affect. First of all, the obvious fine, also court costs. Many people don't realize that if you prepay your ticket online, that you, or over the phone, through the mail, whatever, that you also have to pay court costs. They're assessed with almost every single conviction that there is. And when you prepay a ticket online, that is a conviction, you're admitting guilt, and that will go on your driving record, and you will get automatic DMV points. And if you want to fight your ticket in court, there's nothing a judge can do about the DMV points. You can certainly fight the ticket, but if you're convicted, the judge has nothing to do with the DMV points. And as I said, another area of life that it affects, you're going to have to go to court if you don't want that conviction. And then DMV points. DMV points are negative points that go on your record. And basically every driver in Virginia starts with 0 points, and the most you can have is 5. So if you're a negative, that really is, that's when it starts to become a problem. The more points you have, the more negative points you have, the more convictions on your record, the more trouble you could possibly have in the future. And then the conviction on your record. So your employer can see it, life insurance companies can see it, your auto insurance company, police if you ever get pulled over again, prosecutor, judge, everybody can basically see your driving record if they have a reason to. And another cost of speeding in Virginia, like I said earlier, if you get too many offenses with points in a certain amount of time, your license will be suspended by the DMV for 90 days, and you cannot get a restricted license at all. So that's one of the penalties for driving on suspended, or if you have a suspended license, you can't drive at all. Your car insurance is most likely always going to go up after a speeding conviction. There is no bright line rule for how much insurance goes up. The insurance companies look at a lot of different things. They look at your history with the company, the length of time between any traffic issues you've had, how long you've been driving, the area that you drive, how fast the speeding, like how fast you were convicted of speeding, whether it is a DUI, reckless speeding. Obviously, the more severe the charge is, the worse it's going to be in terms of the insurance increase, but they look at a variety of factors. Also, many people don't realize that life insurance can be affected by too many speeding tickets. Life insurance companies basically look at drivers as a high risk to insure, and they could be completely uninsurable, but more likely it's going to be that the person's going to have higher premiums or not get the coverage that they want due to a bad driving record. Anybody that has a commercial driver's license is going to be affected much more quickly than other people. They could potentially lose their commercial driver's license completely. And if they're convicted of what's considered serious traffic offenses, then they could be disqualified for certain periods of time. That's just like being suspended for a person that doesn't have a commercial driver's license. Also, as I mentioned earlier, security clearances could be affected. And it's more so not revealing prior issues or if issues come up, because when somebody has a security clearance, there's an initial period where they have to be reviewed, and the security clearance is up for renewal every so many years based on the level of clearance the person has. So it's very important that if that affects you, that you know what your reporting requirements are. And Bad driving records can be used against somebody in a security clearance process. There are many different factors that security clearance reviewers look at, and one of them is personal conduct. And a bad driving record kind of falls into that category because one of the factors they look at is failure to follow rules and regulations. And if you have a lot of driving issues on your driving record, they view that as a failure to follow rules. Additionally, you could lose your job. You're not going to lose your job because you are convicted of speeding. What's going to happen is, if you have to miss too much time from work to go to court, or if you have too many speeding convictions, then your license ends up getting suspended, or you have to drive for work and your employer's insurance is going to go up. So there's a variety of consequences to your job from speeding, but not necessarily just because you have a speeding conviction. Also, out-of-state drivers are affected by the rules just as Virginia drivers are, and the same thing if Virginia drivers go to other states. Almost every state participates in an interstate compact, and what that means is if you get convicted of any traffic issue in another state, that state will send it to your home state, and the DMV will take action against you as if the offense had occurred here in Virginia. Also, as I mentioned, juvenile drivers are treated differently. Anybody that's under the age of 18 that gets a traffic ticket has to go to a different court. It's called Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court, and also they do have to bring a parent with them. And then another consequence of speeding in Virginia is a potential criminal record, because reckless driving, a lot of people don't realize, is a crime. So if you're driving more than 20 miles per hour over the limit, or more than 85 miles per hour, they just changed the law on that, then you can be charged with reckless driving, and that's a crime, and you can never expunge that from your criminal record, because in Virginia they do not allow expungements of any convictions. And with that, I'm basically going to wrap up. I'm going to leave it open for questions, but the one thing I wanted to end with is how you can help me. I would appreciate if you all who are watching would subscribe, like, follow, comment, and share. On my social media pages, I'm going to be putting links to all those in the comments. My videos all on YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. And then also reviews. If you, these aren't just for clients. If you happen to have read my book and want to write a review on Amazon, that would be greatly appreciated. And of course, client reviews. And then also, if you would like to review any presentations that I've done, webinars, lives, all of those things, again, thinking outside the box for having, online reviews are very important. So I'm going to put links to all of that in the comments. And I'm having a little bit of difficulty seeing if anybody is asking questions. Oh, here we go. Oh, my video keeps stalling out. Okay. Well, anybody that's there and has any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. I know there's a bit of a delay, so while I'm waiting for questions, I will actually start typing the links in here. I also don't know if you guys can still hear me. Well, I'm not sure if you guys can't hear me or if you don't have any questions, but at this point, I'm going to sign off. So I will add all of the links to the comments, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.